This video concerns what is known as the oral law. The oral law was a set of simple but powerful principles devised by Moses and the elders. It was intended for the Levites to use in order to explain the purpose and intentions of the covenant to the people. The covenant means the 10 Commandments, in case you didn't know, which you probably didn't if the rabbis had anything to do with it. And the 10 Commandments had to be explained to the people so that they would understand the intentions of the whole philosophy. Now the rabbis destroyed this oral law by pretending that their gigantic set of books of garbage known as the Talmud were actually the oral law devised by Moses. And with this pretense, they completely destroyed the clear and simple intentions of Moses and condemned the Jewish people to 2,000 years of misery and tribulation, the like of which had never been seen before and would never be seen again. And the Jewish people will continue to endure the hatred and contempt of a large part of the human race until they finally understand the difference between the wisdom of Moses and the poisonous trash of our Talmudic rabbis. So what we'll now do is to try to sketch, however crudely, what the oral law might have looked like before the rabbis got hold of it and destroyed it. The covenant begins, of course, with the first commandment. The first commandment is, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and you shall have no other gods before me. Well, the oral law might have explained this commandment as follows. This is the spirit that freed you from slavery, and no other spirit is to take precedence over this spirit. You were slaves in Egypt, and you were shown how powerful you could be if you were righteous, wise, and disciplined. And you were shown that such a spirit could not only free you from slavery, but could build you into a great nation in your own right, that would never have to bow down to any other nation. And when this spirit entered into you, you saw that it was vastly superior to the ways of the Egyptians. And you lost your fear of the Egyptians, and you lost your awe of them. And you saw that their tyranny, and their crooked priesthoods, and primitive beliefs were worthless and could be defeated with ease. And this new spirit empowered you to think of freedom and nationhood. And the spirit in you began to lay the plans for freedom. And you shall never, under any circumstances, forget the spirit that inspired you to fight for freedom and nationhood. You will never forget that it was this spirit of righteousness, discipline, and cooperation that led you like a tall cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night to the freedom you had not known for centuries. And that spirit has no name that we could understand. It refers to itself as I am. But we think of it as the God of Israel. And you will live by that same spirit of righteousness and discipline forever, and never allow any superstitions or cults or other ideas to take precedence over this spirit. Because without it you are not a nation, but merely a meaningless rabble, without the power to defend your freedom and nationhood. And then we come to the next commandment. You shall not make for yourselves a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And you shall not bow down to them or serve them. You shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And ye shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. So what would the oral law have said about that? You are responsible for your own destiny, and you stand or fall by your own values and conduct. And you are never to abandon your values and responsibilities to pieces of carved stone or wood, or to charlatans who seek to convince you of their own wisdom or supernatural powers. Woe betide your nation if you fall into such stupidity, because fools can never keep the Spirit or pass it on to their children. And if you are indeed foolish enough to lose the Spirit, your children become ignorant and passive and subservient and vulnerable. They will not have the strength and cohesion to defend their freedom, and they'll become an underclass subject to cruelty and contempt. And it will take them several generations to recover from your stupidity. So on the other hand, if you hold fast to the spirit of righteousness, discipline, and kindness, and if you diligently teach them to your children, then they'll be strong and clear-headed, masters of their own destiny for many, many generations. Then the next commandment: you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. And the oral law might have said, you will not sneer at the Spirit, and you will never take it lightly. You won't scoff at discipline and integrity, and you'll never scorn or forget the values and precepts you are being taught at this moment. Israel is not a nation of lawless heathens. Unique among the nations, we live by the spirit of righteousness under the discipline of our codes and precepts. And we have a name for that spirit and its laws. We call it the God of Israel. And you will never mention that name without reverence, as if our spirit was of no account. Foul-mouthed ignorance will do you no good. It will earn you the contempt of your neighbors and weaken you and endanger the safety of your family and your freedom. And the next commandment is, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your manservant or maidservant, or your cattle, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Well, how would the oral law have explained that? It might have said, every seventh day you will rest from your labors, you, your family, and your employees, and your livestock, and other animals, if any, and any visitor to your country. And on this day you will rest and restore body and soul, and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And on this day you'll reflect on your laws and precepts, and the spirit that gives you the strength and freedom to work and enjoy the fruits of your labor, and to defend what you have against any who would try to take them from you. And you will discuss these great matters with those around you. For this day is a fitting occasion for strengthening family ties and friendships. And everyone shall understand that the covenant with God is the source of your prosperity, power, and self-sufficiency.